Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast. This is episode 170, 170. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me, as always, is my co-host, and his name is...
It's your guy Omazis.
How's it going today, man? How you
Man, I'm
enjoying
chilling.
I guess we're officially, in the weather change era. We had to kind of transition through over here through some heavy rain that had me probably a little under the weather because some of the cold air was getting to me at night. But I'm in my recovery phase. I'm doing good. It only lasted maybe a few days here and there. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to put winter behind me, honestly. And I know usually from the past, because I used to count down the days. From the past, winter was like one of those things where I knew as long as we got to the second week in March, we was good. Because the second week is like somewhat tricky, but by the time we hit that third week, it's like, no, it's over. And like we're getting ready to get to that second week now, and I'm excited about it. So yes, I'm excited about gaming. Jam-packed show. For a lot of the silliness that was just unfolding at the last minute. I do want to start off with the Capcom Spotlight, and then I want to actually address this game first because I know I've trashed it a bunch of times. Pragmata is set to come out on April 17th, so it's still a little ways away, about a month and some change, right? April 17th, 2026. It was a game that was actually originally announced when we were still looking at the game systems as brand new, which is way back at the launch of this generation. But it had a series of like different trailers and stuff where you had that little girl that's on this guy's back who's holding up a sign saying "I'm sorry" or "We're sorry" and it's delayed and 1 more year, 2 more years or whatever. But I think they're actually finally in their final stages. And this was the demo that came out maybe about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And this Capcom Spotlight, honestly, we'll go through it, but it was kind of like beating a dead horse in a way to me because it was doing the exact same thing over and over again. Capcom always does that where they'll have like the exact same games that they're just showcasing that we've seen from them already, and they kind of did this again, and they started it off with Pragmata, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go get the footage. I'm gonna actually play the demo and give my impressions of that, at least for the demo's sake, as we go through that show. So first, I'll just tell you real quick about my impressions of this, and then we can kind of go through the spotlight show. I will admit, in the beginning, I was starting to call it trash meta because I was sick of the trailers. And the dude who was talking, like once they start showing him talking and stuff, I really was done with this. Because I kind of felt like it was getting in the way of it a little bit. Like the trailers, they was exaggerating it a lot. Now in the game, they still structure it in a way where he's talking and she's talking in a way where it's supposed to help the player, almost like give hints, like just like how a lot of those PlayStation games do, on what to do and stuff. But it's not as egregious as the trailer, at least for this demo. I can't speak on the real game when it comes out, right? But as I go through it, I will say overall, it was a positive. It was a positive for me. I did like it. There are some gripes here and there. The shooting mechanic is unique where it's like in real time, you're aiming at your enemy, the robot, but then you're solving this puzzle on the left, or on the right, and you have to use your A, B, X, Y buttons as directional buttons, basically, to go left, right, down, up, just to solve that little thing that looks very, very similar to Spider-Man's minigame. when you were like going to those things and unlocking the things for Harry, if I remember correctly, in the first
Mm-hmm.
game. It looks very similar to that. Like when you look at it, it's really familiar if you've played the Spider-Man games. Um, but I will say it throws you off because when I'm trying to do left, right, up, down, I'm usually trying to do that on the left side with the directional pad. Like every controller has directional pad on the left side, but you're actually using the buttons that you would normally use to reload a weapon, switch weapons, duck or jump. Those buttons are being used in that sequence to go up and down, left, right to solve that little pattern while this robot is like, stalking at you. And if he gets too close, he'll try to melee hit you. So like when you see this on the screen, it's like I'm doing that with like your main buttons. Like we're gonna play Left 4 Dead later, right? And Left 4 Dead and a lot of other shooters, you're reloading, you're switching weapons and stuff, especially Borderlands, right? You're doing that with those buttons, but here we're doing the directional pad. So it was kind of messing me up a little bit in the very beginning. So that's why they were getting close to me and hitting me. By the time we get towards the end of this footage, I was getting it a little bit better. Um, I will say it does throw you off because not only that, because you're doing that with the buttons on the right, your actual directional pad is where you're using it to actually switch certain weapons, and you have to aim the gun. And you see how the weapon, like you see how on the bottom right hand corner you can see the weapons, so they're
Mm-hmm.
there on the right. But to switch to one of them, I have to take my hand off of the left thumbstick and put it on the directional pad to switch. And so it kind of throws you off a little bit. It's very different from any other shooter, first or third. So like you would have to really just play this game and get through it. Because if you're playing this and you're pairing it with like a shooter to kind of just warm you up or something, it will really throw you off. And most games are shooters, so that's probably the one thing I will say. Um, that was probably it. Kind of is my gripe, but because in my mind, if they had switched those two around and you're doing the up, down, left, right on the left, and then switching between guns and stuff on the right, um, it would feel more uniform to what you're like normally used to. But that's really my only gripe so far. I can't really and I know that's probably just a design choice and everything because they wanted to make a unique game. So I don't have too much other problems with everything else. I will say with the demo, I did not have any crashes, no glitches, nothing cyberpunk launch related, nothing like that. It played just fine and the footage is just fine. I played it on my main PC. That's a graphics card with a 4090. This was at 1440p. This footage was downscaled just for the podcast though, but the regular footage was 1440p with one of the features on. I can't think of the name of it, but the one that make you get like a whole bunch of extra frames. Tell you, I don't know that much about PC like that. I forgot the official name. I'm not that big of tech, but I turned on one of those features and I think it had ray tracing on. And then this is what I got. As far as just aiming and normal shooting, if you're not doing the whole like D-pad thing, the shooting is like what your normal third party game. But I will give this game a little bit of credit. It was fun enough. I don't want to call it trash meta again. I'm gonna call it Pragmata going forward. And I did put it on the wish list, but I don't think this is something that's gonna be a day one buy. It's a little too early for me. I got so many other games I'm playing, especially a surprise I have at the end of this podcast. But yeah, I do think I will recommend it. I will recommend people play it. The girl wasn't too annoying, even though they kind of tried to make her somewhat annoying. She's not too annoying though. Like, but her voice and everything is like, she tries to tell you to do stuff, and it's kind of like, here's this like little kid on your shoulder talking to you to tell you the grown man in a like Bugs Lightyear suit how to actually use it and stuff like that. So but this right here, because I'm in an area with this robot in a very closed in area, it's done that way to like I guess create some tension. Really, like I was just starting to get used to this game because we're still at the beginning of this footage. um Once you really get going, what you'll notice is like if you don't let him get too close and all you do is just kind of jump, it's a possibility you might not get hit that much in this game at all. I was getting hit a lot now because I was still, fighting muscle memory. My muscle memory is just to simply shoot at the dude, but they want me to do this maze instead of just simply shooting at him, and that's what was slowing things down. And he's getting closer, and that's the whole point of the game, I guess. Almost like a horror element, even though this isn't really presented like a horror game. But yeah, I do like it. I like it. I think it was growing on me by the time I got to the second half of this demo. I think this footage is just over 30 minutes. So by the time we got to the second half, it was like, okay, I could play this. Where I would play it, I mean, I could still say PC just to get the highest graphics, but I wouldn't mind PlayStation or Xbox. Definitely not Nintendo. But yeah. A couple things I'll mention, and then I'll get your thoughts on this game from the Spotlight. Again, it comes out April 17th. The regular version of this is $59.99, and then the deluxe version is supposed to be $69.99. So you get the full deluxe version for $70. I don't know what it comes with as far as the deluxe. I don't know if you could look that up real quick, but it didn't give me no info on that when I was looking at it on Steam.
Didn't they announce it in the Capcom show though?
They may have. They may have. You might be right.
Yeah, because
So
it comes with costumes.
Okay. Yeah, there was one costume I unlocked at the end of this, but okay, that makes sense. So if it's more cosmetic, then I mean, unless you just really like it, I would say just play the $60 version. On PC, it does run around 40 gigs. And I was a little shocked at that. I thought it would be a lot bigger. Most of these games are usually bloated. Like the game I'm gonna show last is like 150 gigs, but it was 40. So I don't know if it's gonna be short. Hopefully it's not. After like as many years as they took on this, it has enough decent content. But 40 gig download on PC. Yeah, and that's all I really have on this.
It comes with the Shelter Variety Pack, which comes with that cat, like a cat outfit, a mech like yellow outfit, some music, some emotes and this is one of the things that I was gonna complain about. Weapon skin and some art books. The emotes is, so I guess I'll mention from the Capcom show, like, the trailer didn't really sell me more on this game. It's whatever. However, they were talking about how they have these emotes for Diana, the girl, that's supposed to like show her your bright personality, and it's 3 emotes of her like dancing. And I'd rather that just be in because like in the game, and you're in the context, and you're the guy, you're protecting this little girl. It becomes this like dad-daughter like kind of moment, and you're like, aw, adorable. When it's isolated on just a trailer going, buy this thing because she dances, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like I find it weird. Like it would have been like, I don't know, like, yeah, it wouldn't have been a good comparison. I was gonna say Atreus breakdancing, but like, no, it's just it's weird. Like it was just her just dancing shoeless, and it's like, what's happening here? Like that made me uncomfortable. Where again, I was like, in the context of the game, it would be like, oh, because it's like your kid. But then outside of the context of the game, it was just awkward.
I think on the footage we're close to a part where my controller, I think the left Joy-Con got like caught under the table where I was at because I was holding it up too close to it, and it kind of like there are moments where it looked like I was about to just run off the side,
Mm.
and it wasn't trying to. I think it's like right here somewhere, and it was because I had it under the thing. And I was like, "What is happening? Why is it not stopping?" He almost fell off the thing. But it
I'll
corrected
also
itself.
mention, that's
Yeah.
good, on the website, it says that you can buy all the costume stuff that comes with the deluxe edition separate from the game, and then puts a warning to please don't purchase twice.
Yeah, I would say if you're a person who's into costumes and stuff, just do it all at once in the deluxe version. Don't, because those things used
Oh,
to
and
always confuse me in the storefront too. But
yeah, pre-order and you get like a robot ninja costume too. Or sorry, samurai, Neo Bushido,
okay, yeah, I think
and
this is the
Neo Kanochi.
yeah. I was messing up around here because I was getting hit and he's just running and I'm like, what is happening? Let me just stop. That's what happened. I stopped. I was like, okay, I gotta fix it. Um, But yeah, based on this footage and based on what you saw from the show itself, oh, you're saying
Mhm.
it did not sell you anymore.
Nope.
But is this something that you would play at some point, or are you just completely passing?
It's one of those like Epic goes, it's free or PlayStation drops it. I'd probably try it out, but I don't really have a desire to go buy it.
How do you feel about the whole directional pad thing, just from what you saw, what I was describing?
Oh, I'm sure in the moment I'd be annoyed. But I don't mind sometimes the doing something different. It makes the games feel different. Like sometimes, R2 should always be, or like the what is it, R trigger should always be the shoot
Yeah.
button. But I don't mind if like there's a different button to slightly do different things
Hmm.
to make it distinct from, so it doesn't just feel like I'm doing just another game,
Right.
right? To a degree, I don't need you switching the shoot button. Like, don't go far like with it, but like I don't mind things be feeling slightly different, and especially if it comes to like puzzle
Yeah.
parts where like majority of the gameplay is the same. However, I say that with like not being in it. Like I imagine if I'm like in it, then I'm just like, all right, this is annoying. Which I found sometimes if I try and switch between fighting games, I can get annoyed if things are like drastically different on
Right.
some stuff. So I would say, like from the outside looking in, I don't think it's terrible. I'm sure in the inside of it, I might get upset.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can take a look at the rest of the show. So, Pragmata started it. I don't know if I wrote down everything, so if I skipped something, you can let me know. But the next thing I did write down was Mega Man Dual Override,
Hmm.
which we've seen a few times already. This is, they were announcing, hey, we got a new Mega Man game. But there was a couple things there that stood out to me, that they just kind of said in the dialogue from the people who was talking about it. But basically the fans were helping develop this game in a
Yeah,
way, which I thought was unique. And I was like, I wonder if we should open up a can of worms with that. But they were sending in design choices, and I think they mentioned they had like a whole bunch of entries that they had narrowed down to like 20 at one point, and then now on this show they're narrowing it down to like 6 or 7.
yeah.
And then it was just like, I guess, designs of some bosses that they're gonna have in the game. And I was just wondering about that because I remember having a concept in my head that maybe this was with wrestling though. Maybe they should just have fans submit like books or something of them just creating storylines if they just can't do it right, right?
Well, I mean, they kind of did. Remember, create a story. They used to
Yeah,
have that. Create a story where you can like upload them, and people would download them and play through the games
but I meant
themselves.
like
So,
with WWE directly though, like just have them just like submit storylines and y'all just use them. But
oh, you
basically,
mean I got you. I thought you meant the
yeah.
games. No.
But like here, it was kind of crazy because in my head I'm like, are they just doing it for free, or are you gonna
Yeah.
bring them in or sign them, or you just it's just
No.
your person in the game and that's it, and they just
Yeah.
take your
Well,
job.
so it's a way. It's a contest, right? As a way to build hype for the game, where it's like send in an artwork submission, and if yours wins, you get to be like in the game. I'm sure they might get like a name in the credit.
Yeah.
Like when the credits roll, like you're not gonna get paid for it. It's just a competition.
But let's think about. I don't. Well, maybe I'm being negative. I'm just thinking like they never really could get a Mega Man game out, and then they finally about to do one, right? And before it's just like endless collections, right? And it's like, are they probably just saying, "No, we're just gonna make you do it"? Because we
No,
don't
no,
want.
no, 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 no. That would have been like if they had to design every single little aspect of the game. This was just make a character,
Yeah.
right? Like a lot of things do that. Especially you'll see it from like some indie developers or things like that. What happened? There was like I think it's very similar to like for example Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
For anybody who backed it, there's a hidden room in the game, where it's just little statues of every single person that helped out. But like a lot of times they do this like little fan things for like
Unless
here's
you
a
were the
competition.
completionist. Yeah. They took
Yeah,
them
but
out.
it's like here's a competition to like get your character in the game and you get credit for it. And it's like I did that. It's more of a
Yeah.
sense of pride thing. Shows used to do it too. Like for example, South Park would do competitions. They did a competition where they let like one kid, they designed a character for him and let him voice the character in the episode. Or Dexter's Lab did one where like some kid sent in a submission for what he thinks should be an episode, and they took it and animated it and just put it out. And it's like without knowing it, it comes off as just really weird, awkward episode, and you're like, this feels different than everything else. What happened? Until you find out it was just some kid made it, and they said sure, and just animated it and just made it for him. So like several things do it all the time to just like send in submissions for stuff. If they were like, if it was on the like level of Elden Ring, right? If they said design a boss and whatever, like they shrunk it down to one and put it in the game, cool. However, if they said send in submissions and those were the bosses of the game, like all only, then you're like, all right, maybe you are cutting them to do work. I think one character thing is more of just like it builds hype for the game. Everybody send in stuff, and then we're gonna pick what we think is the best, and then put it in the game for you.
Should they at least send them a check for
No,
$4,000?
that would be cool, but no, it's a competition. People do that all the time. They sign up for them. You get your name
Oh
in the
man.
credits. If they like said send in the like submissions and then they didn't say anything and then they just put it in the game and was like, we made this, then that's messed up. But like they're gonna say who made it and stuff.
All right. Fair enough. Now I will probably be paying more attention to this Mega Man game simply because it's a new Mega Man game.
Yeah.
I'll come back to it. I'm sure we'll see more on it this upcoming summer because summertime is usually when they just come out with like a whole bunch of shows. I actually, quick side note, I had went back to my bookmark of the shows and counted them. I believe it was like 22 from the last few days of May to like the second week in June. It was 22 shows technically when we went through all of that. So, and it was actually a more than the year before that. So I don't know if they're gonna do that again. Please go the opposite direction. But hey, I like what they did here. So it's like we got real topics, but then we got like some shows in the mix of it. And that's okay. But 20 is kind of a lot, right? But the next game they show, everything on here I think we've seen plenty of times, but Omnimushi Way of the Sword, we've seen it a few times. I still like it. I like everything that I've seen. It's just a show of everything. It's almost like reminding you that hey, we still got this stuff coming out, and then with Street Fighter, I think was after this, just here's more stuff. It's dope. It didn't sell me more, but I am gonna play it. What are your thoughts on Omnimushi?
That to me was the second, besides the Mega Man, that was the second best thing
Okay.
shown to me. Like I don't know, it felt like, and this is kind of an overall for the show, like you said, where it's like repetitive
Yeah.
and everything. Like despite all of these being shown before, I feel like I haven't really seen the Omnimusha stuff in a little bit. So it was like, hey, like I don't mind the hey reminder versus like when they talked about, for example, Pragmata and Resident Evil, where it's like this has been on like every show, like coming up. We know
Yeah.
it's coming out. You don't need to show it again. Uh,
The funny thing
I
about it
felt
too
this
is
one was better.
I almost want to look at like one of the shows from a few months back, put them side to side because I almost feel like they're in the same order as well. But maybe
Probably.
that's just me. But
It's for sure the
yeah,
same games.
definitely the same games. Street Fighter 6 has been out for a while. They
I
showed yeah.
go ahead, go. I was just gonna say that when they showed off, they were like more from like the movie, and then it
Hmm.
was just like a couple behind the scenes clips, and it was like,
Yeah.
okay,
It was just yeah, and I haven't kept up with Street Fighter 6 as well as I probably should. It almost seems like they're just drip feeding content for it, but it's still very
yep,
rich with content. Um but they showed off the character Alex, which is actually being motion captured by Kenny Omega,
yeah,
which is a very well known wrestler, AEW wrestler. And a lot of his gestures and I think even his finisher
mm,
is in Alex's move set. So when you see him, I almost feel like they might as well just like just went full Kenny Omega in there instead of just making a dude named Alex. But
then I'd have to continue to pay him.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but
He dubs Alex. It's a one-time pay. They put Kenny Omega in it. It's a
hey,
forever pay.
somebody out there who's on the PC side, you know what to do. It's a quick
Oh yeah,
skin probably in the same graphics. I'm sure somebody gonna do it. But yeah, it looked dope. It looked cool. I also think it's really cool that he would get that opportunity because you usually don't see any wrestler that's non WWE wrestlers get those type of opportunities. But I mean, he got that opportunity. I think Samoa Joe at one point got an opportunity. So yeah, that's pretty dope to see that they have different things they can do outside of wrestling. But your thoughts
hmm
on Street Fighter 6 Alex?
it does feel weird that they're still kind of like it seems like drip feeding like one thing at a
Yeah,
time. Like the way they were advertising the fact that you can get the thing to get the costumes with it makes me feel like that's not what they normally do. Like it didn't
yeah,
feel like it was like you get this and this. It felt like, hey, did you know you can get this with like it felt too excited, which made me feel like, oh, they really are just like, here's one extra little thing every once in a while. And I don't know, I got sick of buying like fighting games and then like soon after the complete editions come out and like there's so much DLC. And I've been waiting. I wanted to play Street Fighter 6 and I wanted to play Tekken 8.
mm,
But like both of them, it's still like, here's a new thing. And it's like, it still feels like Fed is just like, I guess I'm not going to get it yet. Cause when I get it, I want it packaged together.
packaged together with everything, right?
Yeah. Cause I don't want to have to buy it and then all of a sudden also spend like $5 per fighter and drop a
Right.
whole nother like game price on it. And then you release the uh deal like the complete edition after. So I'm just biding my time and waiting. It's nice that they're still getting supported. Don't get me wrong. It's not like just like dead and then like to me it's always better to drop these than to like make you buy a whole new game with nothing new other than like a couple new characters.
Uh-huh.
Um but I kind of wish there was a way where like some of the I know each one costs separate, but if it was something that was like the new characters out and it's just added to the game, then I'd get it. Versus, it's like, well, the new one's out. I gotta buy this one now. I gotta buy this one now. Like I don't like that.
I do want to
But the characters,
mention
cool.
side note real quick. So you saw me get mowed down by this boss like a few times, right?
Hmm.
The reason for it is because my muscle memory is to use, one of the XYAB buttons to dodge. The dodging button in this game is actually R1. And so it's like if you remember like back in the day, especially in the PS2 era, GameCube era, shooters weren't uniform, and then games had like different controls. Like it was literally just different controls per game. Like game kind of feels that way because the controls are kind of like different. But once got to figure that out, I was like, okay, he shouldn't hit me again. He nicks me every now and then, but yeah, I just want to mention that. Um,
Excuses.
excuse, I
You
ain't
just
die.
getting
Oh
beat
no,
now.
I didn't die. No, this is all one playthrough. There are no edits.
They
I
out
ain't
here
die.
like, man, I see you taking a whooping. You out here like muscle memory.
No, I'm good. I'm good. You gonna see me. You gonna see the skill come out in a second, man. You gonna see it. Me and the little girl. We was taking down the Terminator 5000 over here. But anyways, I think the last thing I wrote down, and please let me know if I skipped anything. The last thing that I wrote down here, Monster Hunter Stories 3.
Oh, you could have skipped it.
Why you hating on Monster Hunters? What you mean I could skip it? This
You could
this
have
is one
skipped
of the
that.
hottest games. It was the main event.
Ugh.
The main event. They let you know that not only see just like how this game has a demo, that game has a demo. So folks, I did the demo for this one. My co-host could do the demo for Monster Hunter Stories 3 next week, and we can see from his perspective how this is gonna be. You know what I'm saying? The demo is out. The game comes
Watch me
out
not.
March 13th. 2026. This is right around the corner. You blink and the game is out, man. March 13th. They mentioned that if you wanted to, you can go and watch some more YouTube videos just to get some more lore behind the scenes stuff, more understanding of the story, so that when you go into this, you're not going in too blind and you know what's going on a little bit. You understand the drama. You know what I'm saying? This is Game of Thrones level. You know what I'm saying? This is Breaking Bad level right here. What is your thoughts on Monster Hunter Stories 3, man?
Pass.
So why you hating on this game? What you mean a pass? Why is this a
Pass.
pass?
I don't like the monster game. You know what? Good for the fans. All five of y'all get to enjoy your new
All
Monster
five of
Hunter
us.
thing.
Listen, Monster Hunter got a way bigger fan base than some of these so-called, Game of the Year games. You know what I'm saying? But
Hating, still hating. Anyways,
still.
but no, it's cool that they added more. And it seems like everybody like I like story driven stuff, so it seems like they're heavily going in on like let's get to know the Rangers like a little bit more, like giving them more personality instead of just being an extra character. But
Yeah, man.
still not gonna get it.
Capcom is a machine. They got so much out there, But that was their show. I do want to mention it wasn't necessarily a part of this show, but I gotta give a big shout out again to Resident Evil Requiem, Resident
It was
Evil
in the
9.
show.
Wasn't it
They
in the show?
mentioned it.
They
Yeah, because
mentioned
I
it,
heard them
but it
mention it,
wasn't.
and I was just like, again, because they
Yeah,
were like, yeah, it's out, blah blah blah. Play as Leon, and
yeah.
yeah,
Listen, the feedback from the fan base is that this game is considered one of the upper echelon ones. It's like better than
hmm
previous ones. It's like it's not just another entry. It's actually one of the better ones.
yeah.
Definitely a game of the year contender. I'm excited about it. Excited to get around to it eventually. I still got to do 8. I still got to do for the remake or for the remake. The remake with Leon from back on 4. Excuse me. Um, I'm probably gonna go straight for that one and not necessarily the original 4 because that one the controls was just it was too jarring for me at the time. Maybe I'll play that one like later on. But yeah, they just pumping them out, man. Those with games like this, that's probably more experimental. It's cool that they have an oil machine that's gonna always print money for them that everybody still loves, and then they can still do something creative like this robot game here. Um, but the main thing I wanted to mention for Resident Evil, it was mentioned that they did 5 million in sales in 5 days in the first 5 days of the release. Now, yeah, it still kept
Nice.
going, but 1 million a day is crazy. That's pretty big for a game that is already big. But Some of these other, game of the year games can't even do half of that in about 6-7 months. But anyways, this one, 5 days, clear, real game of the year right here. I'm so excited for the franchise. I can't wait to get around to it. But yeah, that was that show. A lot of great games there, a lot of big names. Hopefully, just like Pragmata, they start working on the next IP that's new, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. But yeah, let's move on to another show that we don't really have to spend too much time on. Well, maybe you want to. Maybe you wrote down every game that they show. That is Dames for Games. Dames for Games had a spring showcase. They are welcoming in the new weather. It was like, hey, we got you. We got you with these games from the Dames. How you feel about this show? Was you impressed by all the skill?
First Happy Women's Month. That's why they was doing it. So,
Man, canceled already.
cool. I said a Happy Women's Month.
Oh, you said Happy
I
Women's
might
Month.
cancel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Women's Month.
Right.
Matter of fact, yesterday, maybe today. I think it was yesterday. Was actually also International Women's Day. So yeah, no, shout out to women. So for me, one, I always complain about this. I think the show is too long. Like it was like 2 hours, like 2.5 hours. If you include the pre-show thing, I always complain about that. It's always too long. What I also didn't like is it didn't feel like, to be honest, anything remotely exciting wasn't even shown until like past the hour 30 mark. Like it felt like you with the long talks and some of the games, like it just was like kind of, for the most part, meh. There was one that was sort of okay, but them talking over it kind of ruined it. And then to me, the first game that felt action packed, I'm not gonna get it, but the first game that felt action packed was Waifu Tactical Force. That was like the first one. It was just like guns, running, shooting. It wasn't like either cozy or like we made this game because this is the suffering that I go through in my day-to-day life and I wanted to put it in a game. And I'm not even saying on some like women's stuff. I mean like legit. It's like the other exciting game to me, Varuna, was like it was made because of my own hospital things, and then my daughter is this, and like so it's a game about overcoming and it was just like you could have just like it looked cool, and then you were just kind of like and messages, and it was just like let me pick up the messages on my own. I don't need them like force fed. And then it was like just talking, and then about how like for some reason it's still difficult for them in these spaces, and they gotta like make themselves like zine, blah blah blah, like extra long. Then it cut to like Waifu Tactical Force, which caught me off guard, but like it was all shooter and exciting. And then like later they showed it was like Fallen Tier of or it's Fallen Tier the Ascension, which I've already had wish listed before, but that one looks really good. This game Melted Time looked pretty cool. It was like a horror puzzle game where you're like a candle. And then they had this other game called Usual Jude, where you were fighting Ghost, and everything, and they showed off some of the team talking about it and how they're designing stuff and the different people's roles and everything. So those are what I got. Overall, it was okay.
All right. I actually did write down Waifu Tactical Force to start, and it wasn't necessarily because I wishlisted it or anything. I just kind of criticized the name, honestly, because I was just like, so yeah, it's like it looked like a Valorant type shooter. It does.
Yeah.
A lot of jumping around, really fast moving PC stuff. I just kind of criticized it because it was just like, just based on the show, because I let it just run. I let it run. And I watched the whole thing. They did go through this whole like having to overcome male spaces and all this other stuff, and then one of the games
immediately
and it's like, well, then you show a game and you call it a Waifu Tactical Force, like that's the name, and you like that's a derogatory name in my opinion.
WTF, what the fuck?
Like, so to me I was like, well, you can't really, you accuse everybody else of probably holding you back and this and that, but then when you finally show your product, you call it a waifu. which, you know, I would imagine from the perspective of one of them, that would come off as demeaning or degrading in a way. That's what I would assume. But maybe I'm overdoing it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm making it too political. But
They
that was
made
just that was the thing, and I was just like, okay. Now, Fallen Tears, the Ascension. Yes, it has been mentioned before. Yes, that is something I've already had wish list, and it was
That's
on
the one
plenty
I
of
wish
other
they would have
shows.
like talked more about. That was
Yeah,
just like a quick,
they threw
like
it in
30-second
passing.
ish. Yeah.
Yeah, they threw it in passing. It was not really, you know, a feature, but it was one of the games that I like. Now, Usual June was the other game that I did write down as well, which looked more like a 3D action adventure. Yes, it's centered around the whole ghost thing. It does have a demo, so people can go and check that out. That was more of the main event of the show for me. I know they still have more people talking and stuff. They was really focusing on a lot of like Zoom meeting type stuff, podcasty
Hmm.
type stuff. The concept at one point was, okay, we're gonna interview you while another person is playing your game. And I kind of understood that, but then they didn't really keep that like consistent. So they just started talking to other people in random spaces, and it wasn't really showing anything. This show was what, 2 hours plus.
Hmm.
Um, so I will be fully transparent. I have more than one computer. It was running while I was not only playing Pragmata but editing other stuff for the podcast. So I was still busy working, but even then there wasn't nothing that really made me say, let me pause and look, except for when June came on.
Hmm.
I looked and I was like, where's the timestamp for that? Because I was still actually playing the boss fight of Pragmata. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna write that down because that's something
Wasn't that
worth
like the
writing down.
last game they showed too?
Yeah. But it was about a good hour and a half of just trauma dumping and
Yeah.
other stuff. And it's like, you can be a female in the space and show amazing work without doing that.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you all types of trauma I could go through, but nobody's gonna care because I'm a male. And it's like, that's the double standard there. But like, you know, in the bigger, you know, the bigger crowds, they're not going to care because there's no space there saying, oh, let's pay attention to him, unless you add on the other characteristics of, oh, it's probably a person of color and all this other stuff. Then
Mhm.
somebody will act like they would care. But that's the reality of it. It's like, just show me the game. The Fallen Tears of the Ascension, I didn't know that was probably made by a girl, but
Me
I
neither.
still liked it beforehand when it was on a regular show, and that's why I had a wish list. I
You
enjoyed
know what this
what
reminds
Usual
me of?
June looked like. Yeah,
It reminds me of us praising. Remember the first Latin American game show where it was like when they had the black game show and then the women game show. Both of them kept, they talked a lot about struggling in spaces and things like that. And then for the
yeah,
Latin American game show, it was like games. Game, 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 game. And we prayed, and it was like, unfortunately, it was going to get slept on because people just see the title and just assume it's going to be another one of those. And it wasn't that. It was just, here's all and admittedly, some very great looking games in
yeah,
there. And it's like, I kind of wish these were a little more of that. I don't know. And also, sometimes, like I see there, I always have the mindset, it kind of ties in, when there was like oh, why isn't like WNBA doing blockbuster numbers? And it's like,
mhm,
well, why aren't women watching it and everything when there's just enough? It's like, I feel like there's a lot of women gamers. There's a lot, like Twitch has shown me that there's a lot of women gamers. And it's like, but they're playing Valorant and Apex and Elden Ring or Clair Obscure, not these. So it's
yeah.
like
I don't
they're
like.
not playing this narrative adventure about coming to terms with who you are over and over and over and over again. Like, wow, it's awesome. Go ahead and make the game that you want to make. It's your game. Go ahead and things like that. But it's just like the contrast of constantly saying we struggle in these spaces while then also, no dudes talk about like, the struggle and whatever. They're making a game about a chicken fighting, right?
Yeah,
Like it's like, come on, like do like make something extra exciting, like for everybody to play without it. It's just you don't have to, and not everything needs to be like. Again, I've said this before, like usually with you about stuff where it's like, I want to see like I did all these things, not I did all these things in spite of my struggle.
Funny enough, this is really gonna bring home once we get to the final part of this show. My surprise game, because it actually was inspired by a girl streamer, who plays regular games and not, the trauma dumping stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, shout out to the Mario stuff on the screen. I guess we could probably move on. What last words for the Dames for Games Spring Showcase?
I'm happy that they're still going. uh, like even though we criticized and everything like that, if you're going to say there's not space for us, or it's hard to make space for us, then by all means make your space. Like, I love that. But like, come on, shorter shows, please.
Well, I expect
That's
them to
always
be
my
back.
biggest gripe.
I expect them to be back for a summer showcase for sure. I do expect them to be back. Let's switch gears. Let's actually jump into the Nintendo space. Let's start with probably the main topic for Nintendo, which is a very recent topic. Let's start off with Nintendo out of nowhere deciding to sue the United States government.
I, for the first time ever, back Nintendo
You
on
back
their legal
Nintendo.
decisions.
How you feel about this? Why you back
Do
Nintendo?
it. Why are we over here always attacking everybody else over nothing, constantly, and you're like ignoring all of the big stuff, right? We've always talked about it. You attack the indie developers, but you let Amazon sell like mods and hacking stuff. You attack like all these other people, but you let all these other big stuff go because of who the opponents are. Well, not anymore. Like you're mad at the tariffs, so you attack the people doing the tariffs. That's fantastic. Go for it. I don't know if you're gonna win, but like, go for it. Stop attacking these random indie developers who's just trying to get by, and go after these other people making all the bad decisions.
When I first saw this, I laughed. I was like, there's no way that's real." And then, because at first, funny enough, like some of the sources that was getting sent to me was actually not reputable sources. And then next thing you know, reputable sources started to report on it as well. And I was just like, wait, they're actually not picking on a little guy. They're actually going for probably one of the biggest entities you can go after. Because it's not even like Amazon. So yes, I've been calling for them to step up to Amazon for the longest, but Amazon is a store. Amazon, not to get it twisted, yes, they have money. They have money as a store, but they're not they're not like a government entity, right? They're not a ruling, controlling area of land. They are a storefront. They just so happen to have a convenient way for you to order practically anything and have it, sent to you in less than a week or a week total, right? The U.S. government is our government basically. Now I completely understand their perspective, because if you let's lay some groundwork for a second. Nintendo, if we remember, the launch of the Switch 2 had a lot of negativity surrounding it because they had the price increase. The price increase was the main part of it was the idea of an $80 game. And we didn't have that much information yet, and there was people thinking that the digital version was going to be 80 and the physical version was going to be 90, which we found out within a week that part was not true, but the damage was done. Basically, people thought that they were gonna have to pay $90 for a game. They already was going in with the idea that they were going to probably try to do what the PlayStation was doing with these $10 upgrades, and they are actually doing that. And then Mario Kart gets announced at $80, and that set people off. The cartridge thing is still an ongoing thing that set people off. It's just we're kind of a little bit more cooler on it right now, but people don't like the idea that you could buy a game cartridge and the game not fully be on the actual cartridge. Now you can't really blame the government for that. That's kind of them and the developer or whatever. They need to figure that out on their own. I don't think you can blame them. But the point of the lawsuit is based on, you know, tariffs. They're calling it unlawful tariffs. We don't usually talk politics at all on the show, but I believe the US had a Supreme Court ruling against them maybe a month or two ago where they were saying the tariffs were illegal or something. I don't know. You maybe have to help me out on that. I'm just going off memory. But I know I saw that at some point where they were saying tariffs need to stop, basically. Now this was like literally like maybe only a month or two ago that I saw that. And maybe that's what's giving Nintendo the green light. Now normally, yes, we know Nintendo only picks on the little guy, a random dude on the internet trying to play a ROM, right? And I have been calling for them to go against the entity for a long time, and now they're finally doing it. I would love to see how this plays out, but I don't think they have an actual case, to be honest with you. Especially, I think it's less of a case that they have compared to the Power World case, to be honest. In the Power World case, I think there was more evidence, you know, that might support their claim. Here, it's like, well, you could have chosen, honestly, to not pass the extra cost off to the consumer. You could have chosen to do that. And not only that, it doesn't explain how your regular games never really go on a real sale. Your systems don't go down in price ever, right? It's like, and then whenever the holiday seasons come around, it's just a Mario Kart bundle and it's the same price and stuff. It's not like you literally do not do sales and stuff of anything else. So it's going to be harder, in my opinion, for them to explain, you know, that they've hurt their you know, launch or whatever. But to give some more context, it really was a negative launch. People were not happy with the Switch 2. This past holiday season, if you remember, there was reports that the Switch 2 did not sell as well as they thought it was going to sell during the holiday season. I can report myself seeing a lot of Switch 2s just hanging on the shelf whenever I go into some of my stores that I go into. Most notable is Walmart. Even actually in the bad community Walmarts, you can see a lot of Switch 2s on the shelf. And, you know, coming from it being released in 2025, if you look at 2020, when it came to the Xbox and the PS5, Xbox Series X and even Series S and the PS5, physical and digital, those things were still hard to get going into the next year and stuff like that. Now we know it was a little bit artificial because of what they were saying. Oh, we didn't have enough and we can't put it in the store because of, you know, all these different sicknesses and stuff like that. All the excuses that they made. Well, the Switch 2 didn't really have those excuses to make. You didn't have to fight the bots. It wasn't just like one per state or something silly like that. They were there. And people just don't want to buy them. Now, I don't know if you could just blame that directly on tariffs because they're just
have been.
They've been doing it, but it's just like, well, they're here. And people still don't want to buy them. I don't like you.
I don't know if it's necessarily blaming the tariffs for people not buying them. I think what the blame is they had to pay more to get them here, and also people are not buying them. So I think that's what they're upset about is just the fact that they paid them more. But to what you mentioned before, 20 U.S. states sued to stop Trump's new 15% global tariff. So.
Yeah,
I think that is why Nintendo's like, yeah, we hop in on that too.
Yeah, so on paper it looks like they're going one on one with the how am I say one on one with the great one, but no, they're not. They're joining in on a pack of angry mobs, I guess. Civil war within here, but they're throwing rocks from the other side of the globe, I guess. But um, I do find it to be a little silly when I think about the idea that video games have gotten to the point where not only do we have politics like what we just talked about, all littered in the gaming space, but now on the upper echelon of gaming, maybe you're trying to go against the government. It's just like, can't we stop and
Yes.
just play the games? Like, what is happening?
No.
We can't
Fight.
just
Why not? Focus on this and don't focus on the little guy. If you're gonna like, I would be more like I'm not as upset with them. Like, yes, just focus on the games, but also if you're gonna keep attacking the little dudes while keep just kind of throwing blame at the tariffs, no, go after them too. Like, be fair. If you're gonna be all suing everybody, sue everybody.
Here's the good part about it, though. Let's say they win. Let's really think about this. We gonna find out whether Nintendo is real or fake real fast. Well, we already know they kind of fake, but still, here's the big question: you sue, you win. Are you gonna lower that price? Are you gonna go back
No.
to a regular price? No, you're not. You're definitely
No,
not.
not at all.
You're not. But still,
Because
it's like,
they have to pay for all the court fees. Why would they go down in price?
because it's like the tariff is over. It's over. It was mentioned that in Japan, those people on that home turf was paying like 300 something, 350 or something for the Switch 2. So it's like, do we get the chance to buy for 350 or something like that? Do the regular games go back to 60?
Nah, Nintendo's gonna be like, we won, and everybody's gonna be like, we won, and Nintendo's going, no, we won. Nintendo won.
Yeah, I don't see them winning this, to be honest, but still, I don't look at Nintendo as the good guy overall. I always look at
Oh,
them as the
never.
bad guy.
But if you're gonna be the bad guy, be the bad guy to another bad guy. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just when I first saw it, I was just like, no, you need to stay in your lane. I want you to sue Amazon. Amazon is in your lane. It's a storefront versus another storefront. Like, because at the same time, it's like, I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, it's a government, right?
Yeah.
So, well, let's say you win, right? Nintendo wins, but then Trump says, I'm not paying. Then what?
I don't think you can do that. If it's a lawsuit, it's a lawsuit.
Who
Somebody gotta
enforces
pay.
it? Who enforces it?
Like, it'll come out like I don't know how lawyering works, but it's the same idea as if you take somebody to court and sue them, and you win, and they just go, well, I'm just not going to pay. Like, I don't think it works that way.
But still, it's a government land. Who? So
Somebody in the government, they got funds for like that type of stuff. Because if this many people are suing,
yeah,
right, 20 U.S. states and this, like, I don't know how the government works, so I can't answer you. But it's not just
I'm just saying.
I'm just not going to do it.
I'm just
like,
how does a
that's the whole
storefront tell a
point of the law.
government to pay? How does a storefront tell a government to pay? I'm just saying. That's
It's
what I'm saying. They need to stay.
plaintiff and a defendant, and they're winning. It's the
Does it
same
start-
of like when
does this-
people used to take things up to the Supreme Court over like the different like old school things that created laws and everything. They're not suing just a person; they're suing a whole law, like
Does
just
this-
things like that. So
Does this start World War III?
no, we're already there.
We already there, maybe.
That's all this stuff started. That it's not going to be the tariff suing
just saying,
that starts World War III.
Trump has the personality of somebody, who
And they're
would
not
quite literally
directly
say-
suing Trump. It's suing that the law. So if anything, a win means they have to change the law. It just happens to be the law that Trump is pushing. But like, it just becomes well, now you can't do that anymore. I don't think this is like a lawsuit of you pay me. If anything, the pay thing is like, because you lost, your people pay for all the legal fees that just went down.
I just know the next thing that they come out with better be back to the same prices as the Switch 1.
Of course not.
But
Nintendo's making money. They don't care about that.
so it's
They're
like
suing against the Teros because they don't want to have to pay for things to be brought over here. It ain't got nothing to do with the people. They're not doing this for the people. They're doing it so they can pay less.
I don't subscribe to that. I would.
Oh, not at all. It's bad. But if you're going to sue. But like, I
It's
just feel like if
goofy.
they're focusing on this, they're not going to be focusing on the indie people.
It's goofy. I don't know. I just thought it was the goofiest thing I saw. But it's probably hot news. I know a lot of people gonna probably talk about it. I've kind of followed the story. I guess it's just whatever somebody says. But to me, I just don't see. I do not see a world where Nintendo wins this. But
Oh, we'll see.
yeah, we can let's keep moving within Nintendo. We still got more Nintendo. Why don't you tell me about you mentioned the Pokemon and Cassette Beasts having some
Yeah.
drama. What's happening with that?
Pokemon showed off their 3 new starters for Gen 10 and their Elite Fire starter, Pombon. It's a little Pomeranian fire dog. Well, people accuse them now of copying Cassette Beasts in the same way they accused every other game of copying them. Because Cassette Beast, fantastic game by the way, has one of their little beasts called Pom Bomb, and it's a Pomeranian fire dog. So everybody's like, you just stole the idea. Now, I thought people were joking, just doing the obvious Nintendo accuses everyone else, we had to accuse Nintendo.
Yeah.
But some people are taking it extra serious and accusing them of stealing, where to be honest, the only thing, it's a Pomeranian fire dog, and I'm pretty sure it's because Pomeranians are popular and Pom rhymes with bomb. Like, I don't think it's that difficult to get there for a design wise. They don't look the same. Like, their face is a little the same, but they're based off of a Pomeranian dog, so they have a Pomeranian dog face. Like, that's about it, and they're both like orange. But the one from Cassette Beast is primarily like black, like with some orange, where Pombon from Pokemon is like pure orange with a little bit of red fire. But like, they don't really look that much alike. It's just a fire dog based off of a Pomeranian. And I thought it was just funny, but no, some people are extra serious about it.
Oh man. Well,
I just wanted an excuse to talk about Cassette Beast because I started playing that again, and I forgot how good it was. It was really good. It really takes the combat and like puts a lot more strategy into it. To give a side version of how the combat works, I was using one of my beasts. It was like ice typed, and the opponent hit it with a fire move. So then it turned its typing from ice to water because the ice melted, which now makes it weak to electricity attacks because of electricity hitting water. However, if any other fire moves hit it, it creates steam and the steam heals it. So it makes fire moves now ineffective. Right? So it's like all these extra little strategies, or like if you're fighting in a metal type and you hit it with a lightning, it becomes conductive and the lightning attacks bounce off and hit all other allies as well. So it's like it creates all this extra strategy on how you're actually like doing attacks and doing stuff. And I just found out they did their own version of shiny types, and the way the shiny types do is if it's in a different color, that means it's a different typing than what it normally would have been. So there was this like traffic cone crab that's like usually like either a water type or a plastic type, I can't remember. But the special one I got was electric type because of its different coloring. So yeah, they put a lot more like deep strategy into this game. So if you're looking for Pokemon that feels like old school Pokemon, but like a lot more strategy involved and a storyline that's a little leaning more towards Digimon territory, I definitely suggest Cassette Beast, which was free on Epic a while ago.
Okay. That's cool. I think I did look at the footage. It's probably gonna get featured next week for
That's
sure.
cool.
I guess I could mention I did beat Mario Tennis Fever. So
Hey.
that's why I'm showing more of the footage. I do understand the markdowns when it comes to the actual like campaign, because that's what this is. It does slow things down. There are moments where you're kind of just swinging the tennis, racket back, just like what's about to show right here. And it's like, I'm trying to do what you're telling me to do, but they're like not accepting it. And then
Mm.
next thing you know, like that 0 out of 7 in the corner will go up. And it's like, how is this swing better than the last one? I don't know what happened. It's like, but the button combination that they have on the bottom of the screen, like you're doing it, but it won't accept it. Now in the actual game, you're just simply knocking the ball back to the other side, and it's fine. But for whatever reason, it needs to be a precise thing in here, which, is a little bit irritable, a little, throughout the process. But it was still short. It is still like a 3 or 4 hour campaign. So, get through it and then just play the regular game and you'll have fun again. It does pick, actually, you know what? It picks up in the last hour and a half where they actually have real games. But the first part of it, 2 hours of it is more tutorial based, and it's just like, bro. And some of these, like, it's like, look at these swings. It's like, which ones is working, which ones is not? What's wrong with it? Like, I'm doing the same thing they told me to do. But yeah, some of them count, some of them don't. So the games sometimes can keep going because it won't stop until you actually hit the exact swing that they want. But
You gotta get good, man.
I guess you had to get good. Well, I got good towards the end of it. But sticking with Nintendo, I think one of the last Nintendo topics, Nintendo Indie World. I honestly, I saw it. It came and went. I did not get anything out of it. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I want to give you some time. If you got something out of it, please let me know how you felt about Nintendo's Indie World. It was very short. Wasn't it
Yeah,
like it was really short.
18 minutes.
Yeah, it was there. It was like you blinked, it was over. But
Yeah. All right. So, I thought it was perfect length. Like, I mean, 18 minutes. Perfect. Perfect size for that type of show. My issue is there wasn't anything good shown. Like, it was all things that we already knew. It already came out and they were just being moved to the Switch, or it was like heavily we already knew about it. There was like nothing that was just like, here's something you might enjoy, surprise. Like, every single thing was a known thing already. So then it was like, all right, why do we do the show? Like, you could have kept these 18 minutes. 18 minutes was perfect, but it was like you just took some pieces out of other shows and put it together for 18 minutes.
yeah, I didn't get nothing. But
Yeah, me neither.
I
But
didn't
stick to
mind
that
it.
length, man. That was like 18 minutes was perfect.
So
Like, stick to that.
are you saying you wished the Dames for Games was this length?
Not for what they're trying to do. 18's a little too short for that. But like an hour, like instead of 2.5, an hour for the Dames for Games. If they're gonna keep doing the Zoom call format, which I don't have a big issue with. For do your show, interview people, but I don't need them to interview people, and then it only cuts down to 18 minutes. That's gonna be too short. That'd be way too short. That would be
Because
all one interview.
you got to be able to hear their truth. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I mean, if that's all it's gonna be, then yeah, 18 minutes. But if they're gonna talk about the game, it could be an hour.
All right, well, that was the indie world. And now, just in time, the surprise of the show, a game I just decided to grab last minute. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE 2K26. Why did I grab this game? How do I explain myself? Well, I'll tell you. I technically didn't actually grab this game. This game was bought with a whole gift card given to me by my wonderful, wonderful bosses at my wonderful, wonderful job, I guess. They gave me a nice big gift card for my quote unquote, good performance. And I just decided, I was sitting there for a while. I was like, do I really want to get Mario Aces right now? I'm playing the Mario Tennis. Maybe I should play more of that Mario Tennis and really enjoy it. and come back to it a little bit later. I don't necessarily want the Mario Party. I was looking at that one too, the Mario Party, I think Jamboree. I was like, I'm looking at this. I don't think I really want this that bad. This is like really not my game, and it's like something I'm not really caring about right now. And then the tennis game, I already got the newest one. So I was like, you know what is out there? And speaking of dames for games, let me give a shout out to a YouTuber streamer who goes by the name Miss T. Twitch have been trying their hardest to suggest this girl to me, and I'm like, every single time I think wrestling would be on, I think she would watch while being on Twitch, and it'll be on the suggested if I'm at home at the same time. And I was just like not caring really, because it's like you're not really showing the show itself, you're just showing yourself because they can't really stream it. But then like she started showing up on my suggestions and on YouTube as well, where she was playing this game, some of the older ones, and then like the retro ones, like Smackdowns on PS2. And I would look at it while I would get ready for work for like a week or so, and I was like, you know what, those wrestling games are still really fun. And then they kind of like, I think they gave her like early access to this, and I was like, all right, let me go look at it. And this particular game, I think the super deluxe edition, or I think it's called Monday Night Wars edition, is the $150 version, right? Pretty steep. But I looked at it and I was like, okay, I got this gift card. How much of it am I actually gonna pay for? And it was like around $50 for myself. I was like, okay, this is gonna be the complete version. And then I saw in the fine print, because I actually did not notice until it was time to purchase, they also give you the previous game as well, the 2K25. And I was looking at it, I was like, straight, you get the other one too? And so I'm like, okay, that's kind of like 25 each. That's kind of like, okay, that's kind of, you know what I'm saying, that's more on my line, you know, budget in a way, you know what I'm saying? And then I get the full like extra version of this one, and it's like all these characters and stuff. I was like looking through it, I was double checking. I was like, okay, let me make sure that they got the created characters in order, they got the creator arena, all of that stuff in order, because a lot of that stuff was like not there depending on which game you got, and it was a big reason why I didn't get it before. And like I saw all of it was in order, you can download the belts and all that stuff. I was like, okay, they got it all in order. Apparently it's 200 creative character spots, which is plenty of space for all the AEW and everybody else that's not in the game. And I just snagged it. Apparently this game is still not out. It goes live for everyone, I believe, on did I write it down somewhere? Where did I write it down? I think this is the 14th, if I remember correctly. March 14th, which is right around the corner. Anybody else who got like the pre-order gets like the early access, as well as Joe Hendry, who is on the screen. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? I showed up for Joe Hendry when he was young and upstarting, you know what I'm saying? And that girl Jordan Grace, I showed up for them. And because I showed my support, one day they made it to the WWE. They probably would not have made it if I didn't show up and support it way back then. So I was like, you know what? Now that they made it, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna celebrate with them, man. I'm gonna celebrate that they finally made it to the big time. And then I got this game. First impressions, to give context, like I've heard people say this is similar to that version of the game, this is similar to this version of the game. I don't have that influence, because the last wrestling game that I actually had from WWE was actually WWE 2K13. So it's been quite some time. So a lot of the stuff is actually new to me, looking at it in, you know, better graphics and stuff. Getting used to the controls, the layouts are slightly different than from what I remember. So I had an okay time. I will say, this match that we're about to watch is actually the first official match that I played in probably a long time. So I was very sloppy on the controls, very sloppy. I didn't know how to do a bunch of stuff, which is understandable. First game in like over 10 years. Um, do I recommend it? I mean, for if you are somebody who has not played WWE games or wrestling games in a long time, yes. If you are part of these disgruntled fans that I've been looking at, who've been playing since like they came back from 2022 or something, maybe you might want to just wait and see. I don't know what all the reviews are going to be. From the past few years, I've seen the game be, consistently in the 80s out of 100 type range, which I think is pretty solid for a wrestling game. I don't expect this to be I don't expect this to be Resident Evil 9 level of quality, but still, I had some fun with it. It was like a last minute kind of thing because I really didn't want to spend my gift card on Mario at the last second. But yeah, man, WWE 2K26 and 25. I'm gonna be playing the I guess it's called My Rise. I'll play that on the 25 and maybe just a few expeditions. And this might actually be my only WWE 2K, 2K26 might be the last wrestling game I'm gonna buy from WWE for at least 2 or 3 years. I think my rotation is gonna be I'm gonna play that, then I'm gonna go back in the past for a year or two, then come back so that it's kind of fresh. Because from what I was hearing, if you back to back every year, you're not really getting anything out of it. So I'm like, okay, I understand that. Because at that point, it's like Madden, it's like 2K, it's like, NBA 2K. You play the other story real quick, play your friends, and then that's it. And then you do it again next year. And it's like, maybe it's not as, as exciting as it should be. But yeah, man, that's all I got to mention for this real quick. Do you got any words on this game? Are you one of those disgruntled fans who has been playing this for years and
I'm
don't
not
like it?
disgruntled. I think that would be too far. I don't plan on getting this because I have 2K25. And while it's good, I barely play it. At all. So, I barely put any dent of time into 25, so there's no reason to get this one. Just because I haven't really played. I think so. I grew up mainly watching like Ruthless Aggression era, right? And this one's still kind of focused on that too. And then you have all the CM Punk stuff. But if they make like a full, like we're going through all of Ruthless Aggression, which is going to be difficult because that's where a lot of their wrestlers are still wrestling and like in other promotions. So I don't think they'll be able to get their likeliness. But if they can make like a full on one, that'll probably be one I get. It's cool that Joe Hendry's in the game. That's what's up.
Hey, but that's where the 200 calls come in. That's where the 200 creative wrestlers come in. We can let the community.
I haven't been a
blanks.
fan of the creation suite recently. With a lot of it, like I've had my own issues with it, but it's fine. I think I was gonna keep working on 2K25 and get a little more into it and doing stuff, but like I haven't. I've barely played, so I think as you put it, if you're not somebody who gets them all the time, then this would be probably a good one to jump back into. Now that they got the formula down, they know what they're doing, they're not messing it up, and they didn't let go of a bunch of people, so you don't have to worry about it just being like extra just broken and bad. But yeah, I'm okay.
Hey, listen, they stacked this roster with a lot of people. I was sitting there for 5 minutes just looking through all of them. It was a lot of people, so it's not going to be too many people that I have to get. But I do know a lot of current AEW people, a few sprinklings of TNA people, and then New Japan for sure. Maybe some Lucha Underground from back then. I'm gonna grab a bunch of those guys, and then obviously the people that's banned, disgruntled old wrestler that's always on Twitter complaining with their Hall of Fame ring on, and then the Chris Benoit's and stuff like that. Like, I ain't got to play online against nobody. It's fine. But I want the ultimate roster. I want everybody that you love and hate. Ain't that what wrestling about? You gotta have all the people you love and you hate, the heels and the faces. Yeah, I ran and got it. Very brand new. I think it's only like a day or two of access that like the regular people have who pre-ordered, I guess. I was searching for a while. I was like, why is it not a physical copy of the of like all of the above edition? But only the regular version has a main copy. I played in the game as CM Punk, who's about to come out in 3 seconds. So if you want to pay attention to how bad I did, just pay attention to CM Punk. Yeah, we can move forward. We got more show, just a little bit more show. But let's do the Epic Games portion. Shout out to Epic Games that always gives out free games once a week, sometimes more than one per week, which I think is this week and next week. Epic Games, you can always just create your own profile with a gamer tag that's something that you normally use. You don't need a credit card, and then you can claim everything and just log in and play on your PC, handheld, wherever you want to play, or maybe even the Xbox Project Helix that we'll talk about in a second. But the games that are available right now until March 12th, I believe is called Idol Champions of the Forgotten Realms, which I think I mentioned before. That was something that was already in my library. So I think they were double dipping here, maybe even triple dipping. And then Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. I think I mentioned that was a funny title last time. Yeah, those are available right now until March 12th. And then from March 12th to March 19th, we got the game Cozy Groove, and then also is Sanzo's. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. But free is free. Go check them out. Any sales you would like to let us know about on the Amazon side?
Yeah. So forgot to pull this up. Prime Gaming for March. So all the free games you can get during March, are as follows. So you got the Game of Life 2, Lara Croft and Temple of Osiris, Wobbly Life, Overcooked, House of Golf 2, Clay Fighter, Immortal Shell. But it looks like those are the ones that you can stream. So they've added like streaming ones, and then for the games that you'll just be able to pick up throughout the month are going to be Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. So that one. Tattoo Tycoon, Siege of Avalon, Total War Rome 2, Turmoil, Veil of Darkness later in the month, Maho Kenshi, the Samurai Deck Builder, Sir Questionnaire, Rebel Galaxy, Total War 3 Kingdoms, Chimp Quest, Fantasy Memorial Set, and then Deep Sky Derelicts. So, outside of Tiny Tina, a bunch of things I never really heard of, but, well, I've heard of the Total War game, so those are coming out. But yeah, so you'll have those this month for free.
All right, it's a lot going on over there, I guess. It's a lot. But listen, I ain't let y'all down. I got a deep sale for you. This is something that you can't say no to this. This is such a good sale. For the full definitive game, this is $3.99. $3.99 is on Epic Games right now. You can get Werewolf, the Apocalypse Earthblood Champions of Gaia. The complete version, $3.99. You can't beat it. You remember the Werewolf game? You can't beat it, man. $3.
I think you can.
$3.99 is $4 and boom, that's it. Bam. Bam. That's available for y'all. Don't say I ain't never put you on. But you know what? If you want something brand new, I also got the news that the game Marathon is available right now for $39.99. Apparently, people are saying it's better than what they thought, but they say like the art style still kind of hurts a little bit. It hurts your eyes a little bit because a lot of things are just really bright. You know what I'm saying? So just
Mhm.
keep that in mind. But bam, Marathon is out. Did you hear about Marathon? Have you been hearing
Yeah,
about like
I watched some gameplay.
what you think about Marathon?
It looks like another, first-person battle arena shooter. It looks okay if you're into that type of stuff. It is very colorful. It looks like it moves quick, and sharp. But not my thing.
All right. The Batman Beyond as a character and the Batman Beyond version of Joker is joining Fortnite. So you can get up in Fortnite. You can play as Batman. Your buddy can play as Joker. Y'all can battle it out in Fortnite. Have an epic battle. Are you excited? You a Batman fan, right? You a Batman
Yeah, but I'm
fan?
not a Fortnite fan.
What you mean, man? Just listen. They got that in there for you, man. You could have them. You could have the Power Rangers team up. You can do all of that, man. In Fortnite. Fortnite is the number one game. K hate. Um, we found out that the Wolverine game officially has a release date. How it just got shown randomly, I don't know why they did just. I don't know. But anyways, Wolverine's release date is going to be September 15th, 2026. Which is a cool time for me. I like that time frame. That's cool. Um, that's right before the holiday season kicks off. A lot of people like to put their big games right then and there, right before the holiday season. But yeah, exciting news there. Your thoughts on that, real quick?
I mean, it was the time I expected to come out. If it wasn't done, it was going to be the end of October, but no later than that. Um, that is when they always drop them. I'm excited to play it. That'll probably be one I pick up right away.
All right, we got some sad news to report. Unfortunately, we can't celebrate all the good stuff like Werewolf being $3.99. Sometimes we got to mention some sad stuff, man. Unfortunately, the game High Guard is set to be permanently shut down on March 12th. And
Mhm.
it's like it just came out, man. Apparently, this game came out like early to middle January. It's like it ain't been but like a couple months, not barely into March, and they want to shut this thing down already. They giving up already, man. They didn't. This thing
Mhm.
just didn't set a chance. I guess I don't know what happened.
Well,
Um,
I mean, there's a lot that happened.
what happened,
Uh,
man? What happened?
so
Educate me.
one, I think it wasn't supposed to get the like prime spot in the game awards because they were just like, hey, we're releasing. I think they intended to release the game. It slowly started getting traction among some streamers. Everybody starts joining in. But because it got highlighted by Keeley, all of a sudden now it was like, here's this top tier game you're supposed to play. And it just wasn't that. I think it got blown out of proportion. It does suck that it's ending early, but also it felt like from the looks of it, a lot of it felt design wise generic.
Hmm.
Like it didn't feel like you don't look at that and be like, oh yeah, Titanfall made this. Like it felt very just you're running the mill another hero shooter that's out. Then of course there was the little things where for what they were trying to do for the game, with the whole you gather resources, then tower defense or get some sword and blah blah blah. It was too open for it to be 3v3. Because then there's a lot of just like nothing happening, which is not good for someone that's supposed to be a battle shooter, right? It's supposed to be quick and go and not this like long round of just nothing. Uh, so it does suck. I think it just wasn't ready to be fully out yet, and they probably dropped it a little too soon as well. Where again, if it would have dropped under the radar, they could have gotten feedback and had time to fix stuff. Versus everybody going, "This is trash," you're writing it off, and then because everybody had fake expectations for it, which it wasn't things that they said, they just made in their head canon what they think it should be. It suffered from that because now it became you're not living up to what we thought you would be versus us discovering it. So then of course everyone pounds on it, trashes it, destroys it. So it's unfortunate, but It all boils down to Keeley saying, "Watch out for this major thing," and it not being designed to be a major thing.
Well, it is what it is. Real quick, I gotta mention, I didn't think I was gonna be able to see my favorite dream match, AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels. The match that never happened was happening right here, folks. Bam! You would have never thought you'd get to see it, but now you get to see it. Tell me about the Gang of Dragons Studio.
Yeah,
What's
do you remember the
poppin'?
game Gang of Dragons that got shown off? It was that Yakuza looking game with the chubby guy that was retired and then beating people down. That looked really cool. Might
He
not come out.
was he was stabbed. He was stabbed in the gut. Was it
Yeah,
that
that
game?
guy. Uh huh. It's probably not going to be released. So
Dang.
it's been in like making for like 4 years, and
They
they're
just
towards the
showed it.
end of it. Yeah, and as they just showed it, and they're towards the end of it, the creators for it, um, I forgot the name of the studio, but the creators for it was like, we need another 44 mil to finish the game.
Mm.
And Negoshi Studios, yeah, they're like, we need another 44 mil, finish the game. And NetEase was like, ha, no, and pulled their funding. Because we're not just going to drop you another 40 mil. So because of that, because there's no funding, they're now facing closure. They're probably going to be trying to find some other company, like last minute, to like pick up the funding that give them the last bit of money that they need in order to finish their game. Um, but if that doesn't happen, then it's just not going to get finished. It's not coming out.
That's interesting. I think if they're that far on, though, some mega corporation could step in.
Yeah,
Hopefully
44
somebody.
mil is a lot, though, especially for something if it's been cooking for 4 years and it should ideally be almost done. And you're like, we're almost there. Just 44 million more dollars. Like, they're just like, new. And this is supposed to be the debut game for the studio, even
Mm.
though the dude, like, he worked, like, he was one of the people who I think created or was like early on in working Yakuza games because it clearly looks like that. But technically speaking, this is a brand new studio. And they're just like, yeah, we need so much money for our first game, and now the company's like, we don't even know if it'll sell. Like, we're solely basing this off of just your name, and look what just happened with Highguard. That had the name of created by the people who made Titanfall, and look what happened there. So you just being the guy who made Yakuza is not going to be enough.
Well, I guess it
Which
is
sucks,
what
because
it
I was looking
is.
forward to this game. I was going to really jump into this one. This one looked very exciting for me, and yep, gone.
I'm surprised Like a Dragon themselves don't just bring it in, push it to the side, rename it as a Like a Dragons game, and finish it.
Yeah.
It would be easy for them because they seem to pump these out with no problem. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. We'll see as time goes on. I'm rooting for them. I'm hopefully we can we can see this go through. But if it's like that, unfortunately, it sounds like even if it does go through, it'll be similar to other studios where they get the game out, but the studio itself shut down anyway. So, because that's what we've seen with a bunch of them so far. They just keep
Hmm.
doing that. Yeah, but I guess we can move forward. Last couple things, and we can finally wrap this up. Um, did you hear about the updates to the Steam Machine and Steam Frame, which is the headset?
I did
The
not.
update. So apparently, it could be announced at any moment. Basically, they have people have found in the database things for both of them where it's like coming soon kind of thing. Um, I'm still kind of looking forward to it. I kind of now more on a wait and see. I want to see like spec reviews from a lot of big tech people, but it's supposedly at the point where it will be ready to be announced with its price and a release date. Because now initially they were saying it was going to be first quarter, where first quarter of the year is now, so it's definitely not going to be that. But It is likely to be this August September time frame is what they're reporting. So we'll see. Right now it's still all speculation. People just looking at screenshots and databases and stuff like that that shows stuff for the Steam machine. I'm still looking forward to see what the Steam frame is doing just as much because I was really into VR at one point and I still kind of am. But yeah, Steam machine and the Steam frame set to be announced real soon. People are also saying they're going to sell the controller as well separately,
Oh,
which is interesting.
who wants to buy that?
But yeah, some people do apparently. But what are your thoughts on the Steam machine and the VR headset, the Steam frame?
uh, I think the VR headset's a little bit better. I don't know. It's still also weird though that like I feel like there's already like top tier PC like VR headsets. So I don't see. I guess if you just don't want to give your money to like Meta, I guess it makes sense that you now have an alternative. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how they do. I even wonder like how they're gonna sell. Um,
I
I'm
guess
sure they'll do fine, but
they got to
I
come out with
wonder.
an actual price. I guess we just got to see what it
Yeah,
is.
we'll see.
I'm hoping there's a surprise where they finally come out and be like, "Hey, we're gonna actually put 16 gigs of RAM in here instead of 8." But we kind of know that's probably not gonna happen because the whole
Nah.
issue was over the RAM to begin with. But I'm mainly interested in seeing how the Steam machine stacks up against a lot of these guys who've been making these little PC boxes that does have 16 gigs of RAM. You know, how does it hold its own there? And then how does it hold its own with like, releases that come out that's only been out maybe in the last 6 months? You know, how good is it playing these type of games? Of course it's going to play like the games that it was advertising with, like Cyberpunk and stuff like that. I was like, well, yeah, that's, you're talking a 2020 or 2019 release, somewhere around that time frame. Like, what about the stuff that came out in 2025 and even the last, January or February of 2026? How does it play with those? Because that's what's going to matter. Because people buy the systems and then they play the new stuff. They don't just go back and play old stuff. If they were going to do that, they would just play with the computer itself. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I'm still looking forward to seeing what it is. Like I said, I'm gonna wait and see. Might want to get mine on the second or third batch. Make sure they get the kinks out. If it overheats, explodes, burn the house down. I don't want doing that to me. But yes. All right. Last but not least, Asha Sharma, I guess, is her name. The new head of Xbox, I guess that's her title. I don't know what her title is. But Xbox and Microsoft over there, they have officially released a teaser trailer for the new console. And this is an interesting thing. So it's called Xbox Project Helix. Now, what makes this interesting is if anybody remembers, there was the hybrid console that was supposed to play Xbox and PC with access to Steam that everybody was talking about, and that was codenamed Project Magnus. That was the Magnus project. People knew about it and was talking about it, talking about the hybrid thing, saying it was like basically gonna play the PlayStation games on Steam and all of that stuff, right? Well, now, the girl is in charge. She said she was going to make the return to console at one statement. The next thing you know, we got the console being announced with a whole new name. Now, yes, people still got these reports where they're saying it's still going to do X, Y, and Z that the Magnus was going to do. Well, technically, we don't really know. They just mentioned that they were going to tell us more about it in the future. But they just came out with the name, Project Helix. What are your thoughts on this, man? Return the console.
So I don't know if it's just because of my old age of not wanting to buy stuff, or I feel like I gotta really look at and see everything that has come out for this generation. I don't see why we're already trying to move on to another generation. Now I know it's probably going to be a while before these things come out, but I can't think of like what technological advances. Like, I haven't heard of a new 16K, right? Like, we're still in the same pretty much 4K space. We're still at the same frame rate. We're still at the same, like, I don't understand. If anything, now things cost more. Like, it's harder to get stuff, but I'm not understanding what technological advances have happened to warrant a new console. Like, developers can't even utilize the current stuff, right? Like, how many things, like, why are we still having to choose between performance and fidelity where it should just be able to do it, and they can't even utilize the technology we have? How many things are not coming out at, like, on some 8K or ray trace, all that extra stuff that the PlayStation supposedly offered? Like, I don't understand why we're already trying to move. I get it, she was trying to say on some, like, I'm going to be console focused, and then all of a sudden now they're trying to bust out a new console. But it's like, you couldn't even re-lower the prices of your previous consoles. They already went up in price for no reason, and it's just like, how about you focus on that? Focus on what you got before starting to try and do new stuff. And I'm not understanding, like, what tech is out there. What's it going to do different? How is it going to move faster? How is it going to output better? Like, we're not even, the rest of the technology can't even do that. Like, is it going to move at like 16K? Can you have a monitor that can do that? Like, it's like, I'm not understanding the purpose of this. It just feels like a dumb decision.
It's not a dumb decision at all, man. It's the best decision they can make. I can tell you exactly what the technology is. The technology is AI. They gonna have the AI going in that. That AI gonna be popping, man. They gonna have. You talking about what was that? What was we was talking about before with the WWE? They create your own story. Bam, the AI gonna they about to have people creating. They gonna do everybody gonna be doing the Mega Man. The
AI machine is gonna be trash.
It's gonna be modding from the PC side within the console space. Have we seen that before? We haven't seen that before. But that's what's going, and the AI is gonna be able to make you do it. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a thing. If not in this generation, probably the next one. It's going to be on the console side and not the PC side. Another reason to literally cut out the PC, apparently. If it's not going to have no exclusives over there, and then we're going to have modding on the console side, she about to kill the PC. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like she about to kill it. She about to kill it. She came back. This is what everybody wanted, right? Everybody was talking all they trash for so long. Well, now they done found the girl to do it, and that's what it is. They done changed it to a whole nother name. I'm excited to see it. I wonder how it might step on the toes of the Steam machine maybe in the long run. It might cut the air out of the Steam machine. The Steam machine might only last, only a few years to the public until this thing comes out. Because if they still allow it to have Steam hybrid in there, that's still going to be a game changer. So we'll just have to see. But the answer to the question is literally AI. The AI is going to have a full AI focus because that is what she knows. No. She got a fake gamer score or whatever that her employees or her baby daddy, whoever has got that on there going, that's not her. We know it's not her. It's like she knows AI. She is going to have an AI focused console. As much as she says she's not, she herself ain't gonna be sitting there putting it together. She's gonna meet with people and tell people this is what should be in there, and they're gonna have that in there. And I honestly think that was probably more of a Microsoft thing than it is her, and they just put her there to be the face of it, gave her the gamer score thing to be a part of what they know the fans want. But that to me is a front. That's really Microsoft themselves needing a face to put in front of the thing, and they didn't want to go with Sarah Bond apparently anymore, and they going with this girl now, but on the back end, they're a computer company on top of that, and if anybody is worried about RAM and stuff, it's because of a company like Microsoft or just Microsoft, because they do computer work and AI is computer focused going forward. So that's exactly what it's going to be. That's exactly what it's going to be. And that's the technology they're going to push. I think we're probably doing just a little too much when it comes to resolution focus. I think they should be more focused on detail within the game. I always heard from a couple of people that I follow that they would want worlds to not be so big and bloated and be a little bit more dense, but you can go in each and every building, that type of thing. I would like to see more of that. If that's what they're gonna do. But yeah, that's I mean, yeah, it's probably still years away, but they changed the name of it. So it sounds like they're gonna scrap possibly whatever was the Phil and Sarah Bond machine in favor of this machine. But I do think the AI is gonna be the biggest focus on it. But
That's annoying.
that's the
So,
show. Go ahead.
real quick, you because we kind of talked through it. So from this Tekken footage, it was Tekken 7. I was doing the arcade mode. Had to use my boy How Wrong. I forgot Akuma was in this. So when I got to Hiachi and like you see that first round, he beat me down, and then I had to like fight him again. And then it cut to Akuma, and it was like such a cool moment the way they like put him in this. And then I beat him. Barely. That second battle was like amazing. It was like basically we were both one hit down, and we hit a move. Like if you're both one hit, it cut into slow motion, and like because we were both doing our moves, my move caused me to duck, so I went under his kick and like hit him, and it was like KO. So very stylized. I thought that was really cool. But after I beat him, he just like got up and he started glowing and was doing an explosion thing, and I was like, "Yo, this is about to be another fight," and then it just said game over, and it was just done with the arcade thing, and it said I won. And so I thought that was a downside for this. That it was like it was clearly should have been like one more like boss fight with him in it, but they didn't do that.
Yeah. All right.
Other than that, though, I enjoy it. Also, I got Bullet Club gear in this.
Oh, that's
Because we're
cool.
talking about like Kenny Omega. You're about to see it if we wait just a couple more seconds. But with King, I was just doing a quick battle and it was scrolling through, and I forgot I had made this before. But they gave like a lot of Bullet Club gear. Um,
See, that'd be a cool little stable to go and download. The Bullet Club, the
yeah,
Young Bucks, and all of them. I'm excited to get back into it. I haven't done this in over 10 years. And what's funny,
yeah, man.
that WWE game is very similar to that 2K13. The idea of what they were trying to do, and that year it was kind of taken from me. You know the story. We'll elaborate on it
Yep.
later. But that's the show. That's the end of it. I do want to mention one last thing because I forgot to mention it earlier. March 10th is technically Mario Day. Some of those sales will be happening for that. So you'll see a few of the old Mario games at the $40 mark. I just kind of felt like, you know what? They always make them games $40. I'll wait till Black Friday if I wanted to grab one of them, and I decided to go the other route and just get the WWE. But yeah, that's it. That's the show. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch you next week. Peace.